Hi everybody, Casey Zander here, and in this video you already see the title. It's titled Doing More for a Woman When in a Relationship or even when just casually dating is going to destroy desire and make them like you less. And dare I say it, this will even cause them to view you as a beta. Now, in order for me to really hammer in today's point, okay, not only are we going to be looking at you, right, who you are, what you are, okay, masculinity as a whole, but on the opposite end of this, I'm also going to take a look at why this turns so many women off. So in order to preface this video, I want to start off with a story. Okay, here's the story. I'm working with a client one-to-one. This was probably a couple months ago, and his wife is pulling away from him, right? So there's infidelity, okay, and that infidelity came from oftentimes beta-tized habits, okay, but here's the real kicker. When I asked him, first and foremost, and I go, what have you done to try and save this, or what have you done to win her back, right? I'm using the language play because I know that that's the emphasis he would come into this with, is I'm trying to win her back. When I asked him that, he goes, I told her that I would do everything I possibly could. He goes, I told her I would stop working so many hours. I would help pick up more around the house. Okay, he even goes as far to say, I would even quit my job and do something completely different if I had to. I go, and you told her that? He goes, yes. I go, here's the real kicker. I go, here's a little secret. That's the real reason she doesn't want you, because she knows you will do anything to keep her. So here's the really funny thing about the value exchange between dating, right, and between oftentimes men and women, is that the value exchange psychologically to meet hypergamy only comes when you know how to position yourself as the higher value. And this is a skill, or this is a trait that anybody can learn, but I'll give you an example. It can start by just even having a language play where you set firm boundaries, right? If you're willing to say, I'm not going to change who I am, I'm not going to break what it is that I enjoy doing. If you don't like me, or if you don't like it, the door's right there and you don't ever have to see me again. So I dare you. Pack your shit and walk out. Now, if a guy comes from that frame, notice the difference, right? The difference is I already have a set way of living. I already have boundaries. I already know who I am, and I'm not willing to bend or break those boundaries for you. That's the signal that it sends to that woman. Here's why that's extremely attractive. As a masculine man, you have to have boundaries set in place, and you have to know yourself, and you have to not be willing to compromise to change who you are, because the second that a woman sees she can change who you are is the second that you become malleable, and the second that you become malleable, she realizes that emotionally you're weak. Psychologically, you can be pushed around. Psychologically, she can even use her beauty, her femininity, her perception to change what it is that not only you believe in, but how you walk, talk, act, and carry yourself. So this stems even deeper into the mindset of relationship equity, and people oftentimes thinking, men specifically thinking, that the more they do to please a woman, the more they do for a woman, the more they do to entice her, that it's going to equal genuine desire and attraction. So if you just look at the lengths that guys will go, you know, if I use enough game and give emotional spikes through my verbals, therefore that should equal attraction. Oh yeah, maybe. But if you look at this at a deeper level, once they start dating, if I get her flowers once a week, or if I show my care, right, that's going to equal she won't cheat. If I ensure that I make quality time for us and date night, therefore she won't desire anybody else. If she leaves some of her stuff at my house, that means there's no way she would ever have a girls' night out and go explore her options. These things just don't add up, and they don't line up. So what you have to remember is that doing more for anybody does not raise your value. If anything, it lowers your value, and it lowers your perceived likelihood of actually maintaining somewhat of a prestige or an authority. And I'm not just talking in a relationship, I'm talking seriously in any interaction, right? The more you do, the more you put in, the more you talk, the more you negotiate, the more you do any of these things, what it says to a woman on the subconscious level, number one is, A, this man is not who he says he is or who he claims to be, right? Number 2, it says that he feels as if I'm higher value, so he has to do these things. And number 3, what it really says is if he believed he was enough, he wouldn't be doing any of these things in the first place, because him just is existing, that is good enough. And you have to consistently remember that that is good enough, no matter who it is that you're dealing with, no matter how beautiful the woman is that you're speaking to. You have to stay true to who you are. You have to not let those beliefs be changed, and you have to ultimately find out what your beliefs and boundaries are in the first place. Another issue with guys who try to do more for women is that they never actually had beliefs or boundaries in the first place. They were living their whole life, from the things that they would wear when they dress, to the way that they speak, to the way that they carry themselves, the way that they look. It's all to have heightened perceived value in the female's eyes. And the issue with that is that it's constantly deferring to that as the correct way of thinking. And it's not actually letting you establish what you want to be and who you are. So that way you can align yourself with the right person or the right people that actually come into your world, not vice versa. So if you aligned with the topics in this video, I would highly suggest doing one thing. What I would highly suggest doing is going down and clicking the MBT webinar. Okay, MBT stands for Masculine Behavioral Tactics or Masculine Behavioral Techniques. This is a specific step-by-step process to not only attract but keep the women that you've always wanted deep in your life, so that way you don't have to be dumped, heartbroken, cheated, right? You can actually be the guy that she desires and that you're actually becoming in the right format. Okay, we have limited spots open for this. There's less than 100 seats available. When we hit 2,000 for Q2, we're closing this down completely. So I highly recommend hopping into that. Time is of the essence. Just yesterday, we had 6 enrollments alone. So I find that pretty crazy, because this entire movement that I've built with this brand and everything, it's spreading like wildfire. And as this channel nears 300,000 subscribers, not only am I very pleased that people actually enjoy this content, but I want to try to make the biggest dent and the biggest impact that I possibly can. And the only way I know how to do that is by speaking and by giving people the processes that they probably never had before. So with that said, hit the like button, comment and subscribe. Set your calendar for July 1st as well, when the very first ever merchandise drop on this channel does happen. July 1st, it is coming, and we'll see you in the next one.